Wherever there are gaps, we bridge it with our own plugins and custom solutions. So that's how we typically eat, drink, breathe project management. A small team of 15 people working out of Hyderabad, India. These are some of our niche partners we have in order to update ourselves as well as to bring such solutions to the marketplace. So we work with PMI as a authorized ATP and Microsoft as a gold partner in PPM space, and with ProChain on critical chain scheduling, TPG Germany on ERP and other line of business integrations, and on risk management with risk-bar of risky projects, and Lean Station for Lean Plando and Flow, and PM for NGOs on not-for-profit foundation and government projects and programs. So this is a glimpse of customers we earned over the last a decade and a half, and most of them are still our reference customers. We don't have a strong business development, but our participants and customers are our ambassadors. So that's how this business is, our service is going on. So you would have noticed under our logo something called we are called to serve. Okay, so serving our customers and individuals, we consider it as a heavenly calling, and we do that. We always not hesitant to walk an extra mile to delight our customers through our services. So that's a bit of brief about Provi, the team, and our journey. Now, with these few words, I'll introduce our special speaker for the day, Sharath. A very dynamic young gentleman, and from Vishwesvaraya Technical University and XLRI Jamshedpur, and nurtured his career in Singapore, settled in Singapore, and then founded this company over there. So you will see how can someone build a product in 5 years of this maturity. Okay, that's what fascinated me, and I really believe this is a product of the future, which is going to truly transform the construction infrastructure industry, which has been flat in its growth over the last couple of decades. I think Sharath will give more information. You can see all this stuff in his LinkedIn page. For me, I liked his passion with which he drives his company, product, and as a team, how they work as a family extended across a couple of continents. So that's the brief about Sharath. I now leave the stage to Sharath. Sharath, please.
Thank you, Srinivasan. I think you've been very generous about your words about me, but I definitely definitely have to agree about many things that you said, especially about the product. I'm not so sure about myself, but the product has matured significantly in the last 5 years. 5-6 years now, but I think the main thing is the way we see it is this: we're still at the tip of the iceberg. There is predominantly a whole world below us which is unexplored and uncovered with artificial intelligence and so many other technologies and the data that is coming out of all these projects, which will be so meaningful for people to make better decisions, make decisions that can save time, save money, and save cost for everyone. And with a time like this that we are all going through, which is so dynamic and so different every other day. It is, we need a system that can keep us agile, that can keep us going, and something that we can integrate as part of our work or life, and basically integrate the companies, the various processes, and so on. So I think with that background, with that very basic construct, I would like to, firstly thank everybody to join this webinar, and also thank, all the team from Proventures for organizing this. I will give a very short introduction about Lean Station. Lean Station is we started as a startup. We are about 6-year old. Technically, we are no longer a startup. We are considered as an SME, but we still function as a startup. We are a profitable startup. We haven't raised funds from external sources because we didn't want our vision to get diluted for, in terms of what we wanted to do. So we have been very much focusing on our objectives as a company. And in this whole company, our core product that we have been developing, and which will be our, the future growth, and every possibility is going to depend on this, both for us as well as for our customers and partners who work with us, is Lean Plando. Lean Plando has developed as an integrated lean project delivery system. And today I'll be talking about lean construction of Lean Plando aspect, and also how it brings in the digital transformation together. So just before I start going on, I have a few slides where we have a few polls just to understand what is the nature of the audience who are there. If you can just scan the QR code, just get your mobile close to you. Use your camera, you can scan it. Or if you don't have a mobile, you can please visit this link, leanplando.participoll.com. So you'll be able to see options for you to vote there, and the vote can be immediately seen here. So I'm also just accessing this. So there will be 3 slides. Keep it open once you do it. Don't close it, because the same link will refresh once I go to the next poll. I'll give it a few minutes for all of you to be able to get it. Let's see if we are getting any. Yes, we've already started to get some. I should just wait for some time. Sorry, I'll just go back. Those of you voted, we have to just vote again. So sorry about this. There's something new that I'm trying out with a live poll on the PPT. So it's a bit buggy, but it's actually pretty functional. Sorry, you might have to just vote again. I'll just give it another 30 seconds before which I can refresh this poll.
Sharath, I think there is a limitation on that. It says voting limit exceeded.
Okay. Sorry, I was just trying it out. Okay, let's see. Okay, we got about. Okay, in general, if we see we just got a small sample size. Majority of them are not part of the developer PDs, project managers, or directors or planners, but there are considerable people from the developers side as well as from the contractors planners side. So I would assume that this is the the typical setup of the population. But okay, this is another question. Which tools? Sorry, there's a typo there. which tools do you use for your construction planning? Which is so just to get an idea of the kind of tools that you would use for planning. I'll give it another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Yeah, Sharath, sorry to interrupt. It's taking only up to 5 words. Okay.
So, okay. I'm so sorry. Okay. So we should have had a paid version for this. Okay. So sorry about this. So we will probably have to. Okay, but at least we get to know that majority of the people use Microsoft Project. I know we're getting only 5 votes. On the website, they said unlimited votes. So, okay. I think this is an interesting part. Okay, like let's see what happens. It's okay. We'll just get the first 5 votes. How long would you take to hammer in it? Is it less than a minute? A few minutes? Maybe longer than a day? Okay, just refresh it. Those of you who said, okay, so there's a large percentage of you people think can be done within a minute. And some of you think just a few minutes. Absolutely nobody thinks that it should take you longer than a day. Okay, let's just think a bit on this, right? I'm going to ask you, I'll give you another 30 seconds, maybe a minute. Those of you who said you can do it in less than a minute, can you show me, can you just do it? I'm sure you'll be saying, oh, I didn't expect that you would ask me to do it right now. But this is the reason why I had this question is because when we think about this aspect of a simple construction activity like hammering a nail, yes, we always think, yes, it's just a few seconds, right? It can be done. Predominantly just for even if I give you, say, the next 3 minutes to do this, for those of you who said less than a minute, I don't think you will be able to do it because firstly, you need a nail, you need the hammer. You don't even have the idea of where you need to hammer it. So, do you need to hammer it? What are you hammering it for? What is the purpose of hammering? I didn't tell you what the purpose is as well. The requirements are not clear. The scope is not clear. So what is the design? I mean, where is the location of this hammering? Is it on top? Is it somewhere below? If it is on top, then you need a ladder. And when you need ladder, you need the safety aspects of it. Now, with all these things going on, most important thing, at least in my case, I'm not sure most of you would agree with me, is the aspect that I need an approval from my wife to hammer it, even if I want to put a name. And that is an approval from an authority. And I'm sure all of you in any form, whether you're a developer or a contractor or a consultant, you would agree with me that the authority approvals will take the longest. Even if I give you a few minutes to do this, no, I don't think you will be able to do if you really need those approvals, like me in my case. So now what I was just trying to, my point here is that when we look at an activity, a simple activity, any construction activity, there are so many things associated with it, which is related to preparation works. And then after you prepare, then you need to complete the work. So you need to take away the ladders, you need to take away all that, clear it up, maybe patch it up, maybe paint it if paints have chipped off when you're nailing, when you're hammering and so on. So there's also the post-construction works that are associated with it. This whole thing is a chain of works. We always, when we plan for the hammering part. But there are things that we need to plan before and after, which doesn't complete the construction. So in a nutshell, this is what is lean. Lean is basically thinking about the entire cycle in a very connected way so that people can make better decisions. So in that context, I'm just going to introduce what we do as a company and what Lean Plando is all about. Now, if we take any capital projects, we have various 3 pillars, right? 3 pillars, which is processes, the processes of planning, design, offsite production, site planning, safety, construction, and so on. It goes on. This goes on. This is not just, I mean, on any given day, all these processes need to happen. And each of the process needs to know what is before it and needs to communicate with what's after it very clearly. And only then the processes can run smoothly. And it needs to run daily, weekly, monthly for the entire duration of the project. And in the same way, the second thing is about the people. The people aspects where we need the people need to be integrated as well, starting from the developers to consultants to contractors and all the way down to the subcontractors and their suppliers. Similarly, if we look at the tools we use, I mean, for a simple activity like construction, I mean, like hammering a nail, yes, maybe you don't need a management tool. But when we are doing a real construction project, it's not just as simple as just hammering a few nails. We need management systems, management tools, which are interconnected, tools of scheduling, for planning, for design coordination, spreadsheets, your safety management, quality management, site management, everything interconnected and working. Now, these are the three pillars of any project, and these pillars need to serve the project. And most importantly, what at Lean Plando, what we do is to integrate these three, which is the process, people, and the tools to achieve the objectives of the project, to help you to avoid delays. And that's what is Lean Plando as a whole. And the method for doing this is called integrated Lean project delivery. So one of the core aspects, the outcome of this integrated Lean project delivery is the project improvement process. So I'm going to very quickly run through a few slides to explain to you what is project improvement, how it is a leap ahead of project management. We all know project management. It has two broad functions, planning and execution. But we all have faced this weak execution sometimes in projects. When we go and investigate, we realize planning is lacking. When we see failures in planning on the other side, we realize, oh my God, we faced bottlenecks when we were during execution, unanticipated problems which we didn't really plan for. And so in a way, there is, if you see, there is blame game across both sides. Now, the whole aspect of project improvement starts with just-in-time planning, connected with just-in-time execution, through which we can build a bridge between planning and execution to be able to have feedback loops between each other. And through that, we can achieve project improvement, where what is planned gets executed. We get a feedback of whether it was done on time, whether it was done well, and so on. And also on the other side, whether the plan was aggressive, whether the plan was reliable, even for the execution part. So in both ways, there is a bridge that is needed, and that bridge is Lean Plando. And through that, we can achieve project improvement. So I'm holding a watch with me. I just don't want to run through time extension. So I'm just making sure that we can rush through a few points here. Here we have, if you look at construction, there are various processes all the way from, like we saw, today we were talking about hammering a nail, which is one of the construction activities. There are pre-construction activities, post-construction activities. Now it's very important to integrate it. And that integration between each process and each of the steps that go in can happen through a system of a framework through which Lean Plando provides that, essentially. So one of the other aspects of achieving project improvement in those processes, we need to look at broadly 6 areas, right? And the core thing, like I said, the reason why we want to achieve project improvement is to control the delays and cost overruns. That's why we are in this business. I mean, we are all not in this business for just because, we don't implement software for the fun of software. We implement software so that it can control delays. We implement systems. We use new methods, new techniques to control delays, to do things faster, to control the cost overruns, to do things in a cheaper way. Now, there are 3 aspects of it. On one side, which is we need to have any work needs to be technically ready. It needs to be site ready, better site readiness for the work. So technically ready, when I mean that is what I mean is all the authority approvals, the design approvals, the procurement, all those things that are paperwork, that are, you need those things ready so that you can start the work. Even after you get all those, you need to prepare the site to get the work started. So that's the site readiness aspect of it. And as we go down, it's the subcontractor comes in, their competence, their commitment, their ownership, how well they are motivated to actually finish the work within the time that you want them to. And that essentially forms on one side. But there is something else on the other side, which is slightly higher, which are three more points, which are you need to get your reliable estimation of the work that needs to be done, the priorities of the work, the flow of the work. So any complex project, simple project, it's very important to understand what is the flow, what are the sequence of steps, whether the step is is everybody aware of these steps? Is everybody aware of all this information that they need as a stakeholder? Whether they are a project engineer, a planner, a manager, or a construction manager, or a site engineer, whoever it is. And even sometimes the developers, they need to know the whole sequence. They need to have the visibility on that. So they know where the risks are, and they may even be able to identify the risks which the contractors may have missed. Now, if we categorize these two, one side is planning, other side is execution. When any of these things are not met, we have this challenge where planning is delayed or planning is running too fast and execution falls back. And that's when we need to start coming up with many catch-up plans and so on. Lean Plando acts as a bridge between this, like improves these aspects, these 6 broad aspects, to ensure that the projects can run in a very effective and efficient way. Now, when we look at digital project management software, I'm sure you would have come across wherever you are around the world. So you would have come across various digital project management software. This is probably the most trending keyword today. Now, everybody under the sky will say that I'm a project management software. Forms and workflows, people who make that, people who make document management systems, they also call themselves as project management software. We also see, yes, the traditional scheduling, planning, and reporting systems. Then the more futuristic, business intelligence and BIM visualization software also calls themselves as project management software. And also we see more futuristic, the AI smart planning systems. And these things today, we see these are the broad areas, like if you just look at project management, these are where you would see softwares either here or there or, somewhere in between. Now, the whole point is, if we just lay them out in a simple matrix, a matrix of between hard to use to simple to use, and something that is effective, because what I mean by transformative is that it should be able to help me control delays in the projects or help me cut the cost in a project. So that's transformative. Otherwise, it's good, it's nice, but yeah, so what? If we just lay out a few things, Primavera, we all know it's not the simplest of software to use. You need a lot of certifications, a lot of training to actually do that. And on the other side, we have Microsoft Project, and which is probably in the center. You can learn on your own. Maybe with some training, you can do better, but on its own, they themselves are not so transformative. When you combine that with some BIM planning software or maybe AI smart planning, which today, with the lack of data, with the lack of structured data, these AI smart planning systems are not so reliable. And also they are good for the ideal world, not for the practical world. Now, on the other side, we have those other simple tools that we talked about, like digital safety forms, digital quality forms, document management systems, or maybe even QR code based material tracking systems, and so on. They're very simple to use, but yes, they are on its own. It's nothing much. They don't really add a lot of value to the project. If I just use a digital safety, it's not going to help me control delays. It's not going to do anything more than just having a better records of the safety things that happen. Now, when you mix all of them together, which is an integration of all these systems, which is a true integration of processes, people, and also these tools, right? Now, suddenly it becomes, yes, the whole nightmare of how are you going to deal with so many software? How are you going to deal with all these things? How are you going to connect all of them? That's where it's transformative. Definitely, it's very important to get all of them to work in a project. But how do I do it? This is the problem what everybody is facing in the world. On the other side, we came up with Lean Plando ACE, just simple to use, gives you the same much efficient results, much effective results, a much lower cost than all these bunch of things put together with its fundamental things. What do I mean by fundamental things, and what is ACE? So Lean Plando ACE has these components. The backbone is the proven lean methodology. So we incorporate both value stream mapping, or even Pokayoke and Hejunka and Kaizen. All these are integrated in this application. There are various other concepts. I'm not going to go deeper right now, but various things that are proven and integrated in this, which have given results. Functionality wise, it's deeply integrated. All the tools, we look at what are the various tools. Firstly, very importantly, they're all integrated. So you don't, companies don't need to break their heads on figuring out how to get them all to work. Technology wise, it's secure, cloud and mobile. You don't need to install anything. Everything runs on the cloud on your browser. So it makes it very simple to use, simple to deploy, and low cost. It runs on very simple machines. You don't need very heavy equipment to run these kinds of systems, or even servers. IT cost to manage all this is nothing. And user experience. It's smart, plug and play. Also, yes, we have AI, and AI, which is patent pending, and things which is being built based on all the data that we have collected from almost these 6 years. We have a head start from anybody else, and this amount of structured data that we have, which we have the knowledge of how the projects are running, what are the kind of delays that you encounter in different works, and how that can be avoided, what are the mitigation plans, what are the better ways of doing things. We have that data, and that data is helping us and these models are built to constantly learning, which help in basically making this whole thing extremely beneficial for the customers, and also of course, helping them to make it simpler. Now, what are the components of ACE, right? And also, why is it called ACE? So it has these 3 broad components. Under the pre-construction works, anything from digital design transmitters or safety transmitters or digital delivery systems using QR codes, or construction related things from document management and control systems, the planning and cost and process control. And on the post related to the quality and the data insights for visualizing it, and also the BIM visualization. So we look at all these demos in a short while. I'm going to stop very quickly, but just before I do, I just wanted to also just give you an insight on how they're all layered up. And most importantly, why do we call it ACE? ACE means one, the one in AEC, which is architecture, engineering, and construction. And that I strongly believe, and we all here strongly believe, that is going to dynamically change and transform this whole industry in the time to come. And this is how it's laid out. I mean, very simple illustration. There are 3 broad layers. The bottom layer is the site, the middle layer is your project site offices, and at the top is your HQ or your management teams. So if you look at how the systems are built, they're built in that same way, where the flow and the site works at the site level, gets through the mobile apps, people are interacting, and they are able to get the various information from various different processes that run at the site. And this is also possible to integrate with other external systems in the site if you have them. And also, it is seamlessly integrated with the project site office, where the control, the management, and all the design aspects that need to run will actually be running. And there are various modules. This is generally run through the Lean Plando core and Lean Plando flow. And at the management level, the overall insights, the visualization of the data, as well as the BIM, along with the knowledge base, your data lakes, or even your other various AI aspects of it is basically stored there. And that essentially, all this is seamlessly integrated. So with a very simple thing, with a simple slide, I just want to explain that. Simplifying from that to this is between connecting the site to the management desk. There are plenty of things that happen in between, but in a very simple way, it's a simple mobile-based application which is used by the contractors and subcontractors at the site. In between, yes, there are more complex project management systems and workflow systems which come in, but on the right, it comes in basically the visualization and the BI and the BIM-based systems. So what are the benefits of this? I'm going to rush through these slides, and because I'm sure you're all waiting to look at the demo, but I just need to give you a bit of preparation to what you can expect for. One is the visibility on the overall plan, which forms a very, very important aspect today, because you want to not just visualize the end result, but you want to visualize the process that is being used, that is being implemented in the site, starting from design to all the production to safety to actual site production works. And when you implement, you encounter challenges. I mean, everybody knows this. We have delays and issues at different places. You want to be notified, the key stakeholders to be notified at different stages. So this automatically happens between pre-construction, construction, and post-construction works. And then the monitoring of it, whether when the work gets completed, you want an analysis whether it was done on time, if it was not done on time, by what was the issues, and those things you need it for monitoring, you need it for contractual purposes, you need it for various things for learning to improve essentially. And this essentially is, overall, you need to analyze. You need to have a system to analyze the various aspects of your processes, your analysis of your design processes, your quality processes, your safety processes, your offsite production processes, even your contractual process, and then the production process at the site. The overall visibility on all these 4 areas. Moving further, very importantly, we know very well that we have various teams, and each team now is working with different priorities. But whose priority should everybody should be? Do people need to depend on their own priorities, or should they be working towards some common priorities? Of course, the common priorities means the project priorities, the critical path priorities. That's why we have the concept of a critical path in any kind of a planning or a scheduling system. Now, using this system, we can quickly integrate especially when there are changes in the critical path and there are delays and there are dynamic works that are happening at the site. That system automatically sends information to whether it's a construction, the sequence that needs to the design sequence that needs to be the drawings, the submission that needs to be done, or the document approval that needs to be happening. It will automatically readjust and resort the priorities for the individual engineers or the consultants to react on the most important thing that they need to. And moving further, I think this one is the most powerful aspects, which you will definitely appreciate, is it gives you time to respond. So in a situation where you have a design workflow that is happening on the left, and on the right, you have the work sequences that are running. There are situations where you'll have to go through multiple iterations between submission to resubmission to getting it approved, right? I mean, comments from your consultants. I'm sure everybody have gone through this. And this situation ends up in delaying and pushing it closer, the approval gets delayed. This situation can be, it's not a delay the work, but this potentially has a risk to delay the work. And that, if you know it early, as a PM or as an engineer, you can work to either to get the approvals earlier, or in terms of at least notify the site to be able to respond to, deal with it in some way, in a better way. And they have more time to reorganize the subcontractors to other works and so on. Now, this additional time is a boon in construction, and you get more slack. You get more slack to be able to work because you're notified earlier that there are situations. This forms a very, very important aspect of these Lean Plando systems. So what has happened in some of the past? I just want to give you some numbers. We've seen this is not just just those presentations and so on. This has been implemented in real projects of the sizes anywhere from, we will see some of those projects, snapshots, projects of the sizes of $10 million to up to billions of dollars. Right? And we have some participants who are working on billions of dollars, in fact, who are in part of this webinar as well. And here, in fact, the whole thing is we see between 7 to 12% of early completion as compared to conventional systems. When companies implemented this, they saw earlier completion than conventional systems, and contractors saw cost reduction. I think this is a win-win situation for both of them, and that's very important. We cannot just it's not a zero-sum game. Everybody can win. It's the whole point aspect of being in a project is that the trust can improve after everybody wins. And through this system, we have seen that working. The whole culture has changed, and there is increased trust and response from the various stakeholders. And okay, so I'll stop here. I mean, I have a few more slides later on. I'll come back, but I will stop. We'll see this in action. I'm sure you're all waiting to see what does this look like? What is all this all about? We're going to start with, I'll hand it over to my lean consultants, Klaus and Fio, who are also here, and they will run through the demo.
Thank you, Sharath. Thank you, everyone. If you have any questions, you can type on the chat. Later, we can address them. So what you're seeing here, we're starting with something that is very broad, the high level of what happened on the site and what is happening on the site. So this is like a picture of what is happening without you going to the nitty-gritty details of everything that is really taking time from the PM or the engineers there. So this is like a very holistic overview of what's happening on site. We have both the weekly and the overview itself. So the weekly, we have a week cycle that we actually go through with all the updates, all the planning of the next works that are going on a construction level. And everything is represented here. So you can make that insightful decision of how to tackle the problems that are presenting on the site itself. How we do that? So you can actually see the top critical delays and advances. So all the delays that happen on that week and the advances that happen on the week. So how you manage to make it faster, you want to learn from that. And what delayed, you will try to learn what happened on that specific occasion and try to avoid that next time. Or if you need, for some work that is coming up that you need more resources, you also can deploy them. So this is like an insightful way to do the decisions. So we always represent everything on showing our CPR, which is the reliability of your project, so of your planning. So actually, we are not only calculating how much you finish or how much how is the percentage going on the site on a weekly basis. No, we are actually always comparing to your actual plan and what you can do and what do you do and what you did on that week. So all the aspects of it are shown here, and everything is traceable. So everything, if you have like a delay, you will be able to see the comments, the delay details of it, when it was done, when it was reported. So the whole history trail is here, right? So this what I show you is a weekly one. And then you have the overview of the entire site where you have the project status and all the S-curve based on planning with the expected one based on the activities that are coming. How do we get all this data that we are showing here, all the KPIs that you do the decisions in the future, is through our Lean Plando system. As you can see, everything is web-based. So we also have our applications for the cell phone. So you can actually, the updates and everything you can do through the cell phone. So it's easy for the site workers to actually help you to update it. And everything will be sent to here. And this is where you usually see like Primavera P6 and Microsoft Project, right? So this window is actually quite common for most of you to see. We accept the Microsoft P6 versions files and Microsoft Project and Primavera P6 files, or you can create everything from scratch here. Again, everything online, accessible anywhere, anytime. So you have the usual tools. As you can see here, I just want to point out one thing. You have this dotted lines here that you're actually seeing the baselines. So this is when you hand over the file to us or to the main contractor, to the client, right, the developer. And this was the agreed dates that you had. But later on, you can see that this changed both on duration, beginning and end date, right? So why did this change? Actually, this we'll see on the look ahead. If you see this pink band here, so you have like a high level activities on your planning, right? So if we go to look ahead, this is actually what differentiates us from everyone else. So you are looking at a 8-week look ahead window. So 8-week planning of the actual construction that is going on site. So we are not talking like activities anymore. Now we take those activities and we break them down into tasks. So tangible tasks of works that are going on the site, right? So this is where the engineers and the subcontractors and the people involved on the actual construction of the site, they will be able to actually come here and study the budget that was given to them by the project manager, the planner, which, for example, here is 13 days. And then they broke down into the tasks that are necessary for this work to be done, for this activity to be done. But as you realize, when they broke it down, they actually can commit to perform the job faster than it actually is. So the budget is already, so they always try to make it into the budget. If they cannot, then they can accelerate or even explain why they need to delay the budget that you have. So everything here is actually very simple to use and very simple to plan accordingly, right? So the team will be looking at week 1. Here we are in the simulation mode, so we can actually play with the dates. Then the team will be working on the breakdown of the activity, the PMs and the planners. They will be looking at a further down, like week 5 to week 8, how to like break down those tasks and how are they coming to you if everything that is necessary for it to be accomplished, it's accomplished before we start that activity. This one later, Phil will be explaining to you what do we do to actually, like the example that Sharath said about the hammer, what is the whole planning sequence and the whole planning part of that execution work. So here we actually looking at the hammering on the wall and everything beside that, Phil will explain later. But I just want to show you one thing here is that actually this is the due week, is actually where you see all the updates happening and all the updates that are coming from the site team over the utilization of the app or even from here itself. Last but not least, I will show you the reports function. So we actually have a reports function that you can create, easily create like templates on how you want to present, either a Word format or actually like a PowerPoint format. So after you create the template, you can just generate the reports based on the data that we already given, all the KPIs, everything necessary, like dates of tests, dates of completed tests, for example, constraints, project status, delay task, everything is here. And then you put like safety or quality, depending on how you want to present this to your client, right? We also have like the collaboration tab that you can always like integrate and talk to everyone. And easily when, so everyone involved on this, it will be, you have like the client, main contractor, subcontractor, consultants, everyone will receive this report. And they have different roles, different capabilities in the system, so you don't have to worry about that. Usually people ask how many people can actually access our system, so we don't have a limit on the user, so it's unlimited users to be used. And about the amount of activities that we can actually take is like, so far we haven't reached any point of any problem with it. So 500,000 activities or so is no problem at all. So now I'll hand over to Phil. He will explain more about the integration between Lean Plando and Lean Plando Flow and the main part. Phil, can you take it over?
Thank you, Klaus. Yeah, I'm sharing my screen. Yeah, so hi everyone. I'm going to show you now our new module called Lean Plando Flow. So this Lean Plando Flow module is developed to manage your forms and workflows for your whatever Klaus has shown you is for a site planning, right? So for your off-site activities, like you have safety management, digital quality management, your design approvals, design submissions, and all the other stuff, right? So for those processes, you can utilize this Lean Plando flow to actually execute them. So what does it have? So firstly, you will have access to broad form library. So this is where you will be able to access your safety forms, quality forms, and all the other default forms that you want. Okay, and then for your specific project, you can either use our library of forms, or you can also create your own forms. So when you're creating your form, you will be able to access different customization widgets that we have. So for example, you want to insert headings, or you want to put short text space, long text space, multiple choices, etc. for your checklists, right? And file uploads. So you'll be able to attach different files and e-signatures. So the person submitting the forms will be able to sign them immediately. So this is like a sample form that you would be filling up at the site itself, right? And how will it be executed? It will be executed using our workflow builder. So this workflow builder gives you a very flexible platform for you to set up what kind of process is this form going to be executed. So for example, here there will be 5 steps: application, review, all the way until the notification. So these steps and these actions. So what if it's not successfully approved? It will go back to the application, or if it is successfully approved, it will go to the next step. So this kind of customization is it gives you endless possibilities for your specific workflow, where you will be able to customize how you want to execute it, right? And so once you have the form ready and the workflow ready, you will be able to start deploying it on the site itself. So for example, here we have those are the forms that are in progress, where you will be submitting. Some of them will be approved, etc. And then so at the end of the day, then you will be able to analyze all of these forms using the dashboard function. So this dashboard function summarizes all the process that you are currently doing, and where are the bottlenecks, who is the responsible parties for those kind of delays, etc. Okay, so for the design approvals and stuff, so that's where we will also provide you with a document management system, where you'll be able to store your files, drawings, all the files that we will need to submit to the consultants or the clients. Okay, and also we will have for the quality inspections, you will also have the QR codes for you to attach to the workflow and scan it via your mobile app, and can approve them, or you can execute your workflows directly on the phone. Okay, so how does Lean Plando flow tie back to our Lean Plando cost planning system that Klaus has shown just now, right? So for some of the works, you will need a lot of preparation, like Sharath's example, where if you want to hammer the nail, you will need a lot of prerequisite preparations. So in this case, all these prerequisite preparations can now be managed by Lean Plando flow. So for example, you have column construction, which is coming in the 5 weeks. So now, before this work begins in 5 weeks, you will need to do design approval, fabrication, inspection, delivery, and finally permit works. So these are a lot of different processes, right? You have design processes, you have delivery processes, you have safety processes. So all of these, while you are managing in Lean Plando flow, so this is where the value comes in, where, like Sharath said, when the people are executing them, so now you have a lot of time. For example, here you have 3 weeks to anticipate any delays now because of these approvals, and prepare accordingly so that your work can start on time. So this gives you a very comprehensive visibility on the project processes, both off-site and on-site, and notifies you immediately if you are going to face any delay, or if you are going to face any challenges in the upcoming weeks. All right. Now I'll move on to Lean Plando BIM. So now you have the schedule ready in Lean Plando. If you have a BIM model, you will be able to import it here, and you will be able to link your relevant schedule activities. For example, here level 1 of columns. You can link it to your BIM model. Okay, so I'm selecting the columns. Now all the columns from level 1 show up. I'm selecting for the colors from level 3. Now all the level 3 colors that show up. So this helps you in terms of visualization of your work. So where are the things that we are supposed to be doing? And also in terms of the schedule. So while you are also planning out the works in the later part, because you are going to be planning ahead, right? So while you are planning ahead, now you can identify correctly which elements you are referring to for which task, which set of tasks, or which particular task. Now the visibility is heightened, and those who don't have much understanding or access to the schedule itself, even will be able to now they can easily visualize how is the planning going to be done. Okay, and so now because you have the planning data coming into your BIM model, so what you can also do is you will be able to visualize what is your project status, project progress status through the BIM model. So as you can see here, our basement is completed, our level 3 is being constructed, and the rest of the levels have not been started yet. So this is a visualization of the progress, project progress. So this is real time. So, and because we have a schedule, now you will be able to also analyze where is the delays happening, or where did the delay happen. So now our basement, as you can see here in the legend, right? So that means delay. So basement was constructed below, but our level 1 and our level 1 was constructed ahead of time. And so far, as of now, with our current plan, the rest of the levels will be constructed on time. So we want to keep it the grid. All right. So that is the end of our Lean Plando demo. So I will now pass back to Srinivas and Sharath. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Klaus and Pius. Thank you, Sharath, for this. I think 20 minutes of demo is too little a time to go through it, but just to give a kind of elevator pitch to the audience. So maybe Sharath, would you like to kind of debrief for a few minutes? In fact, Pius' voice was very slow. I don't know how many people are able to listen, but I think we were able to see it. So maybe if you would like to summarize it in a few minutes, some of the features what we have seen, that will help them.
Absolutely. I think the whole system is basically comprises of a few things, right? Like the core is the planning and the scheduling part, which forms through which you can control the project. Without which, I mean, just having different other systems, there is nothing to centrally look at it as a visible thing and control and manage the whole thing. This forms where the project manager, the planner, and the site engineers and the subcontractors, all of them are integrated. Then there are various other systems, like you have your safety management system, you have your safety workflows, your quality workflows, which are being run by the individual departments, but they need to be, working, serving the project together. And this system allows them to integrate, and somebody, the entire team comes together. It's a multi-user system. So what Fio was showing you was a completely, I mean, it was one user who is showing you where multiple people have come together and planned all those sequence of tasks, planned all those different prerequisites, as well as maybe the post-requisites, which comes after the work. So in every way, there are many people collectively coming together to plan, collectively coming together to implement, and also monitor. And when individual works are updated, like a safety permit to work is approved, it automatically is notified that yes, it's approved. Or if it is delayed, if there is a design transmittal that is delayed, it will say yes, there is a risk that it might delay, your work might get delayed because your design approvals are delayed. And this gets everybody, the key stakeholders going, and the key stakeholders in a way very proactively to respond to any kind of situations. And most importantly, all this data, the data is structured and data is available to you to understand the bottlenecks, to understand and respond to the most critical bottlenecks every week in the project, to understand how the processes are running, what are your cycle times, what are your major hurdles, and to respond to them in a very objective way as a PM. And ultimately, what Fio was showing you was the BIM model. I see a question whether, if it is not a BIM model, can this integrate with a PDMS system? Yes, it can be potentially, right? I mean, any 3D model. But more importantly, building information model has more information than just the model itself. PDMS, I was working with some of the PDMS system and I was previously into virtual reality and so on. We were taking the model aspect of it, the 3D model aspect of it. But in the same way, we might need more information. And yes, today we have not experimented with PDMS. It potentially has that longer route, whether it is can be done and what can be done in a more different kind of an industry. But visualizing it in a BIM environment gives the spatial advantage to look at planning or the completion works and to look at the sequence, how they are going to be constructed, what are the risks that we might have in the site, where are the congestions and so on. That advantage comes. And that together in a holistic way, which is again, most of the applications that we see out there in the market, you're limited by the number of users. One of the things that we have always mentioned and will always be there is that we provide project licenses. And project licenses means unlimited users, where unlimited users can access multiple updates on the BIM, whether they are linking the model with the plan or they are using on a tablet, different teams are using it, they can. Nothing stops them. I mean, they should not. The whole point, we built this company to assist in this faster delivery. And we've always made sure that even our licensing models are very flexible in that way to assist that and to support that implementation, make it successful. Yeah, all yours,
Okay.
Srinivasa.
Thank you. Maybe before we move on to a couple of announcements, I'll open it for a few questions. I'm sure I see a lot of very senior of my colleagues have signed up and then they are there in the call. So let your question be specific and pointed, and we are here. Sharath will take the questions, or I can take the questions. We'll just open it for to the audience to ask any questions. Ratna, what is the procedure to follow for them to ask the question?
Sir, if they raise their hand, maybe we can unmute them or they can give in chat.
Okay, so you can put your question on the chat or raise your hand and then we'll unmute and you can go for it. Yes, Professor Murali Jagannathan. Ratna, can you please unmute him?
Yes.
Hi, Sharath. This is not exactly a question, but as a person I've used this Lean Plando for my teaching for my students, and one of the best thing that I see in Lean Plando is it increases the transparency in a project. I think that is missing in many project sites, and with Lean Plando in place, there is nothing to hide. Everything becomes transparent, and when things are not transparent, that is when the disputes escalate and we take time to resolve it. But with Lean Plando, the best feature in Lean Plando is that without me entering the reason for any delay, I cannot go ahead further and bypass the schedule in any way. I think that is the biggest problem in any project is where you bypass the schedule. And Lean Plando doesn't allow me to do that. And when I tell to my students, some people say, how is it that we can't go ahead further without entering this reason for the delay? But I said that will help you later. Do that. And I think that's the best part of Lean Plando that I've ever seen as a person who is involved in dispute resolution and things like that. So that's just wanted to share with you on that. Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thanks, Professor Murli. So Professor Murli teaches at NICMAR. They've been using this quite intensively to teach all the advanced diplomas, advanced project management students. So, the master level students. So I think, yes, thank you. That's a very, I would say we designed it that way. And some of them, as you rightly said, do say that this is a hindrance. But yes, you're absolutely right. It helps everybody. It helps. The whole point is without a reason, why are we delaying things? Why are we doing? There should be a reason for doing it. And that reason helps in understanding and also for contractual purposes later on.
Okay, there is a question from one of the audience. How do you manage or mitigate risks? This is
Right.
from Ramana.
So it's a very good question again. This is like risk management is, if we look at it, right, like one of the things that we generally, just to connect the dots to what Professor Murli was talking about, is that, we have so many risks in the projects, most of the times because it's not visible. Firstly, by giving the visibility on the entire planning on when a particular sequence of work needs to be done, whether it's complex, whether it's simple, it needs a visibility of what the sequence of steps are, what are the prerequisites, what are the post-requisite, what needs to be done before, after, and so on. So once you basically put all those things together, you are firstly being able to, reduce the risk in that sense because it's been thought out. It's been discussed by multiple specialists. And most of the times it's not one strategic planner who knows everything. So he needs to work with many engineers, everybody coming together to plan for it. So that way you are mitigating the risk. The second thing is by identifying, it allows individual people to identify the risk aspects. That's where they put down constraints. We couldn't really demonstrate so much today, but there's a concept of constraint management where people can associate constraints without which the work cannot start. And without this constraint, and these constraints are specific constraints. There's a whole library of constraints. Constraints from all this technical constraints, like you're getting your approvals, designs, and various other things, or site constraints, like your access, safety, and various other things. So in this way, you're able to basically ascertain and manage those risks. And when those risks come into play, when those risks are unmitigated and they end up actually affecting the work, these are captured as reasons. So at least in the next cycle, next week, you are able to respond and mitigate it in any possible way.
There is another question from one of the participants. Most of the features what you have shown are already available in MS Project. Maybe I'll take this question. At least I can answer at a very high level. This system utilizes all the features of MS Project. Okay, because it integrates seamlessly with MS Project and Primavera P6. In addition to that, it gives you the ability to seamlessly design those other subsystems like safety, work order, and various other flow processes. Okay, they need not be modeled in the form of tasks and dependencies. Then the plan will become unbearable. So you can seamlessly handle those workflows, assign responsibilities, and then link them to the master plan. The other thing what I have seen is clearly there is something called a loss planner system as per Lean Construction Institute. I've seen it beautifully implemented here. So from a master plan to look ahead plan, from look ahead plan to we can say last mile plan or the current week plan. So that seamless thing is another distinctive feature. Then he talked about the constraint. That's a very beautiful feature. We can associate multiple constraints to a particular task, and then we can actually handle them with responsibilities, dates, and other stuff. Then, of course, you have the visual modeling with connection to BIM. So these are, I would say, distinctively without, inheriting all the P6 or MSP advantages, plus what is not there, okay, how those things can be tailored to a lean way and we can practice. Because one of the constant need what I see is, hey, everywhere we talk about agile and lean, but where we are from non-IT, how do I practice? I have truly found a solution in this much more than anticipated. I think that would be a brief answer to the question what they asked. Anybody else have any question? In fact, I see Dr. A.K., Ajay Chaudhary, they're all stalwarts who has 30, 40 years experience in such projects. Thank you for joining. And yeah, anyone else? AK, would you like to speak? All right. Maybe you can just prepare yourself. We'll take another 10 minutes to make these two important announcements. Yeah, I see Kiran Bhagwati. Yeah, you raised your hands. Maybe you can ask your questions, Kiran. Kiran? Yeah.
Yeah, good evening all.
Yes, Kiran, we are able to hear you.
Yeah, good evening all. I'm actually coming from a linear project planning and project management background for metros and highways and the railway projects. So in this new concept and the tool, are you differentiating anything like linear projects or building or you can say concentrated projects like residential buildings where you'll have a vertical rise than a linear rise. There is a bit difference. I can see that when we are managing the projects which are like national highways and the residential buildings, both are little bit differences there because you'll have multiple tasks being done at certain one location physically, and whereas in the linear and railway projects you'll have to the traveling or conveyance or you can say mobilization or transportation takes more major role. So are you showing any difference when we are giving this tool to these two projects?
Yeah, I'll take this because we have been implementing infrastructure projects in Singapore, like gas pipeline projects or underground tunnels and those kinds of projects. When it comes to we haven't done a lot of road construction projects, but we have done a bit of bus depot projects where we have very large bus depots for even for servicing and maintenance of the buses and so on. In general, I mean, just to kind of at a very broad level, yes, the complexity is far lower when it comes to road construction. It basically has to do more to do with the materials that you use and also the transportation and how many workstations that you possibly assign in an infrastructure line. But the challenges when it comes down to basically, if you look at basically being at a very high level, if it is a very spread out project across multiple locations, and you need a system to be able to get data, especially in India, where when you're building roads for hundreds of kilometers long, you need data from different points, and that those points needs to be collated. The whole point, I mean, you need to have real-time information data flow to understand how things are going at different places. And in those cases, the system can be extremely effortless and it's extremely valuable because you are, and in today's context, digital systems, that's a whole aspect of digital systems. We don't have to physically go there to see what's happening or to use my phone to call them up or use WhatsApp. It's not a digital system, but you need a system which is getting all the data in a way that you can consume, in a way that a project manager can consume or a developer can consume and use that to make a decision. And that's where the system can actually is beneficial. And also in some cases, especially underground projects, there are situations, of course, as you well know, that soil conditions, unexpected conditions, all these play a huge role in the way, and it's extremely difficult to be able to plan upfront before you actually go to that location. In that case, agility plays a huge role. I mean, the ability for agile planning, agile management is very, very critical. And that's where we see these systems actually being extremely beneficial for those projects.
Thank you, Sharath. Okay, yeah, we are now 7:15. Let's also look at. We have 15 more minutes. I'll just give me a minute. I'll just share my window. Yeah, so I was talking about. Like to share couple of announcements. One from us, Proventures, and one from Sharath's team. With this collaboration and partnership between Lean Station and Proventures, we would like to announce an exciting certification program called Certified Lean Agile Executive that implements Lean and Agile systems in construction, infrastructure, EPC, or rather any greenfield capital intensive projects. Okay, that's where these systems are not available at the moment in terms of conceptual knowledge plus application perspective using a simulation model. So we would like to bring this unique combination so that will actually implement the Lean, Loss Planner, Agile, Kanban, all those things will be integrated. Plus, how do we model and run a project? So we'll pick up Lean Plando, and this will be a 18 hours workshop that will direct to a certification as Certified Lean Agile Executive. Now, in addition to that, actually, we are going to give a 30-day window to write an examination through which you will receive this certification. Plus, for you to practice, and tomorrow, if you need to implement it, do it, demonstrate the value. We give 1 year academic license on Lean Plando, plus the flow for non-commercial use. And of course, this will be approved by the Credly Acclaim as a digital badge. So that will help you to build your career and make yourself different from others. So this will be kind of open for planning engineers, site managers, project managers, the contractors, developers, PMCs. So the whole new set of group, they'll be able to specialize in lean transformation and agile methodologies in project management. I guess this may be the first of its kind in India, even across this region. Now, the right side, I have given a high level outline, how the program outline will look like. So it is not just throwing some concepts and then leave you to live with spreadsheets and other yellow stickers. This will have a full-fledged application-centric, practice-oriented program. So we would like to launch the first program in September 18, 25 and October 2, 3 days, 10 to 5. And the fee will be $600 US, or for Indian rupees, it will be 35,000. Okay, this includes program plus certification for one attempt, plus 1 year license for the software on a non-commercial mode. Now, those who would like to express your interest will get an early bird discount of okay, 40K inclusive of taxes. In the feedback form, there will be a checkbox. I'm interested. Okay, it is not a commitment, or it is not a this one obligation. You can express your interest and then take the benefit of it, or you can touch base with Ratna Kumari on this phone number. She will put it in the chat box. You can take it into yours. It will be a fully live virtual program. The price is common for those who are in India. It is 35K plus tax. For who are abroad, it will be $600 US. That includes $75 equivalent to one examination voucher that is valid for 30 days. Okay, so please note down your the dates and you can participate. During the next Q&A, maybe I can give more details about it. With this, maybe I'll pass it on to Sharath. Sharath, if you want to explain it here, you can do it as it is. Or if you
Yes.
want to share yours, you can do
No,
that.
this is fine. This is absolutely fine. Yes. So basically, I think we also wanted to announce for those companies in India together. I mean, this is in partnership with Proventures. We would like to offer this Jumpstart program because I know the system is new. There is a lot of we have also seen a lot of situations where companies are having to do with multiple challenges, getting approvals on the procurement, having to prove whether this new system, which probably worked in Singapore, whether it's going to work in India and so on. So we've been already in some advanced discussions with a lot of, developers and contractors in India. But in spite of that, we are offering this, even with them, we are offering this Jumpstart program where this is we will identify one project from your company and this project we will work at a really rock bottom licensing and costing and just to cover the costs that would go into this. And second thing, definitely there would be results coming out of this and we will implement it wholeheartedly to make it a successful project, just like every other project that we get involved in. It will comprise of, intensive, it's going to comprise of consulting as well as licenses for implementing for your project teams. We'll identify the tools that may be suitable for these projects. Maybe not all projects will require BIM. We may require some other things. So we'll identify, we'll work together in doing this. And also, we would like to extend, I mean, this is obviously under asterisks where we want to arrange a three-day intensive coaching and site visits here in Singapore so that you can see how these companies are implementing it. Companies here, whether in a similar space, can you know how they are implementing it, what are the advantages they have seen, and probably visit, arranging these visits can be possible. Of course, this will be at the cost of the company, but also provided under the asterisks whether COVID restrictions subjected to all the COVID regulations, right? Which is beyond our control. So in this time scale of this project, if you have a 2 or 3 year kind of a project, yes, in that time scale, we hope that all these regulations are eased and then the borders are open and people can travel freely. And this can happen. And also, in addition to this, we want to work with some limited to only 3 parties. We want to work on a case study together with this. So we can publish this in any leading industry journal or any other, place which is suitable and any international, publication where this can actually drive, because there's been a lot of talk here and there about lean construction. But this is a true digital implementation. And I know there has been a lot of excited lean practitioners in India, and this is a great opportunity for them to actually practice it using a digital system to scale it across the whole team, not just only for one section of the project or for one period of the project, but for the entire duration of the project.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much, Sharath. And I think we have a few more minutes.
Sir, there is a question in the chat from Venkatesh, Mr. Venkatesh Subbaraj.
Yes, I think I just saw it. Yeah. Thanks, Ratna. I saw this question. I just wanted to respond. In fact, the answer is very simple. Yes, for everything. But just to elaborate a bit, it's essentially, yes, we do have. Sorry, I got the question. Are multiple users? Yes, it is for multiple users can update and plan together at the same time. That's the whole purpose why this tool has been built, especially when they are in remote locations or they are working together in a collaborative room or things like that. That's the main purpose. That's the way the system is built. Any option to maintain issue log register? Yes, of course. I mean, that's what Professor Murli was talking about, the reasons for delay, any issues that are logged and it will be stored and you can access it at any point of time in the insights. This is mainly, this is the most critical thing that you would need. And thirdly, revised baseline schedule. Absolutely. We always have these revised schedules in every project. So we have this versions feature, which allows you to basically upload new versions and to be able to, see the effect of it, or keep it as a live, updated version in that sense.
Ratna, will you be able to paste the feedback?
It's done, sir.
Yeah.
It's done. It's there in the chat.
Okay. Yeah, all of you who are staying back, please put your feedback. That will be very useful for us to do better and also take follow-up actions based on your feedback. So thank you so much. As you fill the feedback, if there are any further quick questions, please raise your hands. We are here to answer.
I think Srinivasan, I think your Ajay Chaudhary says it's always pleasure to interact with you, sir. So I think he wanted to talk at that point of time. I think we switched over to the slides. It's just about some discussions from Manish.
Okay.
Yeah, from Mr. Manish, we have part 2, sir. I think this is in continuation with the first question. The workflows cannot be standardized looking at different ways of working of organizations.
I think that's completely wrong. I think workflows need to get standardized. Without standardizing, I think that's been the predominant problem. It's probably, I'm not sure why you would say that workflows cannot be standardized, but workflows need to get standardized, and that's going to be the most important. And unless you streamline your workflows, people cannot keep working in different ways as and when they please. It's never going to be, you'll never reach a common goal in that way.
So maybe what he means is each process needs a specific workflow. There cannot be one workflow that fills all. And I guess with this flow, it's very easy to build a workflow, put it in the library, consistently use and improve based on that. I think that flexibility is available. Building a new workflow, customizing, tailoring, all those things are possible.
And also Mr. Tejesh have shown his interest. So thank you, Mr. Tejesh. Maybe the same option is there in the feedback form. Once you give your feedback, we will get back to you with the schedules of dates and times for both.
Yeah.
So and to the participants, this is also a PDU certificate webinar. So please submit your feedback and your PDU certificate will be processed.
Wonderful. So thanks a lot. I think we are really overwhelmed, as I told in the beginning. It was such an encouraging for us. So much people have joined and invited along, asked questions and stayed there till the end of it. So thank you so much on behalf of Proventures and Lean Station team. And thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much, Srinivasan, and also for everybody from Proventures team as well as Lean Station team in supporting this. And most importantly, thanks for all of you for spending this time and this interaction as well. It was very valuable for us. And we look forward to working with those industry ones.
So thanks a lot. I hope with all your support, we'll be able to successfully launch the first certification program on Lean and Agile for construction, EPC, and other core industries. And also, we'll be able to launch the Jumpstart. Hopefully, we'll have travel restrictions will get released. Yeah, we'll see you. Thank you. Once you complete your